Hello everyone. So in the previous lecture we have completed the part of step number 1, that means framing the research problem, selecting very wisely what you want to do. Then we have done the part 2, step number 2, that is related to setting out your hypotheses, setting out the assumptions that what you will get at the end of your research work. For that, you need to find out the variables and the constant. You need to find out the domain in which you want to work. You need to define the scope of your work. So now, when you are clear that what you want to do, when you are clear that what you are expecting at the end of your research work, third step is research design. Now, in this research design step, depending upon your motive, depending upon the nature of your research work, this design patterns changes. And these design patterns are very systematically carried out to achieve the final goal of your research. So in this particular lecture, we will discuss about the research design. Since it is a very huge topic because it covers all various types of research works, how to conduct the research in the various types, various methods. So we will discuss one by one. Every time we will discuss one or two important methods, and in the next lecture again we will discuss with some other methods. So now first we will start with the part of the research design. In this particular topic we will discuss the part of the concept of research design, meaning of the good research design, and the contents of research design. So what is a research design? Researcher cannot keep everything in the mind, as it may turn hard to find the interrelationship among variable things. Thus it need to be written in the form of statement or symbols or concepts. Such process of constructing process is called as research model. Again, I repeat, when you think that whatever you want to do and you have finalized how you will be doing, you cannot keep everything in your mind, and thus you need to convert it into write-ups. This is called as research design. It is the systematic plan, structure and strategy of investigation conceived so as to obtain answer to the research question. It is the process of collecting, analyzing, interpreting your observation. It is very important. Again, I will repeat. It is the process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting your observations. So, how we can say particular work is a good research design? It is the process of explaining guide. It is an explaining guide in detail. How you will conduct your research work should be clear from your research design. It considers effective principles of management. Yes, the principles of management are applicable everywhere. Basically, there are 14 principles of management. This principle says the centralization of work, then unity in command. So all these principles of management should be kept in mind while making the research design. It is tentative plan which can be upgraded with time and demand. It has to be framed considering global facts and figures for uniform understanding. Suppose you want to conduct a particular research work, maybe the economical statement, economical condition of any particular country, and for that you need to refer the data. That data, whatever you are referring, should be authentic, so that any other person should believe in your research work. It should have specified scope of investigation. It should be very clearly mentioned that what you want to do. If you want to do the transportation problem, transportation study, you should be very specific that out of the transportation study, you are interested to find out the accident road, accident numbers, accident rate. So, scope of the investigation should be very clear. It should be kept in mind the objective and the goal of your research work. It shall have clear direction to be followed and interpretation. So, What should one put in it? Defining continuous and discrete variables. A magnitude that varies is known as variable. If value of the parameter changes even in decimal points, then it is called as continuous variable. Again, I repeat, even if the value changes in the decimal points, we say it is a continuous variable. If the value that can be expressed are integer 1, 3, 5, 7, 4, 8, then they are termed as non-continuous or discrete variables. Number of students in the class and marks of the student. These are the examples of discrete variables and continuous variables. So number of students in class will be integer, so it will be discrete variable, and the mark of the students may be in percentage, decibels, so it will be continuous variable. Defining a dependent and independent variable. When change in one variable depends upon the change in one or more other variable, it is known as dependent variable. Say, the time required for traveling depends upon speed. So, traveling time is dependent variable, whereas speed is independent variable. The variable that causes change in other variables are called as independent variable. Again, example, number of accident and road condition. So the road condition, better the road condition, less will be road accident. So road condition is independent variable, whereas number of accidents are dependent upon road condition, thus it is dependent variable. Season and crop, crop is dependent upon season. Find and specify extraneous variable. Now after dependent, independent, this is the third term, extraneous variable. Variable which are not directly related to the purpose of the study but affect the independent variable, affect the dependent variable are known as extraneous variable. Infrastructural construction of the country is suspended due to the war condition. So war condition can be termed as extraneous variable because it is creating the impact on the growth of construction. These extraneous variables, when create effect on dependent variables, the effect is called as experimental error. Control condition. Since the independent variables are part of research directly, the researcher should try to minimize the impact of extraneous variable on the study. Whenever you want to do your research work, you should try to reduce the consideration for impact of extraneous variables. This strategy of controlling the impact on extraneous variables is called as control conditions. It is the beauty of the researcher that how it specifies the variables and how it gives the importance about the consideration of variables. However, it is not necessary that the effect can be eliminated. It is not necessary that you can completely eliminate the extraneous variable, and at such unavoidable time, the confounded relationship need to be determined. Confounded relationship means the effect of extraneous variable on dependent and independent variable. Research hypothesis. When the assumptions or hypothesis relation is tested by using scientific method, it is called as research hypothesis. When you try to check your assumptions on the basis of facts, we say it is a research hypothesis. It relates dependent and independent variables and put forth for its testing. Control group and experimental group. When the group or sample is subjected to special condition, it is set for experimental condition. Again, I repeat. When the group or sample on which you will be doing your experiment is subjected to special condition, it is said to be in the experimental condition. Say for example, curing the concrete road with various methods and then finding relation among the strength and grade of concrete. While if the group is exposed to usual condition in research hypothesis testing, it is called as controlled condition. Curing the concrete road with only watering and then finding relation among strength and grade of concrete. We will take some another example. If you want to study the effect of excess water on crop, and if you select a particular part of a crop and then you apply the excess water to that part of a crop and then you do the study, you are performing the experimental conditions. When you study the effect of excess water on crop, and you do the field study when it is subjected to the all weather conditions as well as rainfall, then a heavy rainfall maybe, then you say you are doing under the control conditions. Treatment, it means the different conditions to which the experiment and the control groups are subjected. It means the different conditions to which the experimental and the control groups are subjected. If the research work is to make 3 different concrete by mixing 3 different waste, then there will be 3 treatment for 3 waste material. We will select one particular waste, we will decide the replacement percentage and we will put and make a concrete. We will choose another waste material, we will select different replacement percentage of that material and then we will put and make another cube. So 3 different cubes with 3 different percentage replacement of different waste material. So we have given 3 different treatments. Experiment. The process of verifying the truth of a statically hypothesis relating to a given research problem. What is experiment? It is the process of verifying your hypothesis. What you have assumed, what you have told earlier, that at the end we will be able to say this, we will be able to gain this. The process to achieve this, either you will get or not, is called as experimental work. It can be classified into 2 parts, absolute and comparative experiment. If only one waste is used as a replacement material for concrete, then it is absolute experiment. While if 3 different waste is utilized as a replacement to make 3 different sample set, then it is a comparative experiment. When you compare the results between various methods, it will be comparative experiment, and when you talk about only one method and one strategy, then it will be absolute. Experimental unit, it is a single or a group of items subjected to the test condition. Say we have discussed that if you want to study the effect of rainfall on the crop, if you have selected a particular 1 meter square of area for the crop, then that will be your unit, experimental unit. It is also called a set of test samples. If you want to check the strength of the concrete and you have taken 3 cubes for testing, then that 3 cubes will make 1 test sample. It is a group over which different treatment are given. Experiment and non-experimental hypothesis testing research. When the objective is to test research hypothesis, means when the objective is to test the assumption based on fact, it is known as hypothesis testing research. A research in which the independent variable is manipulated, it is known as experimental hypothesis testing research. If independent variable is not manipulated, then it is called as non-experimental hypothesis testing research. Say for example, the research on finding the accident rate on concrete road is undertaken. There is a concrete road and you want to find out accident rate, means number of accidents, maybe in a week, maybe in a month or a year. Concrete road condition affect accident rate. Thus concrete road is independent variable. The another research work is to check accident rate by changing the road surface from concrete to bitumen. One will be of asphalt or bitumen, another will be of concrete, and now you want to carry out the research work. Over here again the independent variable is manipulated. Rather than considering only concrete, we have now considered bitumen also. So you have manipulated. So this will be called as non-experimental hypothesis. It will be called as experimental hypothesis testing. Okay. So over here we will stop now. So in this particular part we have discussed what actually research design means, what are the various parameters that you should consider, what are the important things that should be kept in mind while making the research design. So we will stop over here, and in the next lecture we will discuss about the various research methods. Thank you.